Hi there, Paul Kirtley here, and in this video I'd like to give you 5 quick tips on making your adjustable pot hanger, your adjustable pot crane, your waugan, whatever you want to call it, much better. This will optimize this type of hanging arrangement and it will correct something that I keep seeing wrong over and over and over again. In my 20+ years of teaching bushcraft, this is something that I see students do wrong occasionally. It's also something that I increasingly see on Instagram photos and YouTube videos, and it's something that's very simple to correct. I'm not quite sure why people get this wrong, but they often do, and I'm going to show you a better way to do it here and a couple of other points as well. And the main point that I want to make is that the pot hook and this beaked notch is on the same side of the stick. You'll see here how vertical this hangs, and it's because this point is over here. They're lined up, okay? What I often see is the hook on the other side and the beak here, and then it hangs at a funny angle, and that means that it's more likely to pop off the stick here. Put the notch and the hook on the same side and make sure you do your best to line them all up perfectly, and then it will hang really nicely and it will be more stable. So that's your first tip. Second tip is make sure that this hook here is quite short. I often see long hooks on here and it's really awkward to get them under handles and bales on pots and kettles, particularly if there's some sort of lid handle here. Keep this short. It doesn't need to be long. It also makes it stronger. So short hook, that's your second tip. Okay. Third tip is keep this here long. Okay. I often see people just hanging it on the end here. That makes it relatively unstable. This should be quite stable even on its own. It's not as stable as it is with some weight on the end, but because you've got the counterbalance, the weight at the bottom, the weight at the top, it's inherently quite stable before you even put weight on it. Plus, when you come to take things off the fire, you don't have to reach down, you don't have to be going too close to the fire, and equally you can get things off the ground with hot handles perhaps, or even not, and get them onto the fire without having to reach down here or fiddle around with a short stick here. You've got a long handle. That's your third tip, okay? Fourth tip, these notches should be carved with an intersecting pair of undercut notches. All too often I see people taking their knives and cutting directly in to create these notches here, and that means that you mess with the integrity of the fibers and it makes this notch, this beak, more likely to split away. So what you do is you cut in there, you cut in there, and the intersection of them creates the overhang of the beak's notch without messing with the fibers on this delicate point here at all. So that's your fourth tip to make this really stable and secure. And your fifth and final tip is this distance here between the upright and the end. That should be about a step. So I'm here, I step in, and I'm here to the fire, a step away from the fire. That's important because you don't want this catching fire. This is green, so it's less likely to catch fire than firewood. It's a live piece that's been cut, but equally you don't want it right in the fire. But there's another reason as well, and it's this distance here, okay? Shorter, you're going to end up with a stick in the fire. Longer, and you'll end up starting to get too much flex in this part here, which means that this will drop too much, and again you've got an unstable connection here if that slips off the end. So you also want this to be quite stiff, and that again is served well by that being about a step away from the fire. So those are 5 tips to improve these adjustable pot hangers and addressing quite a few things that I often see incorrect in photos and videos from other people. Of course they'll work, but it's suboptimal, and you want to optimize. You want things to work as well as possible. You don't want your hot water dropping on your fire and putting it out. You don't want your dinner dropping into the dirt. You want this all to be quite stable. How to create pot hangers like this, beaked notches, and a whole bunch of other campcraft as well as axe skills are available in my wilderness axe skills and campcraft book. You can get a signed copy directly from me. There's a link below. I ship pretty much worldwide. Also, if you'd rather buy more locally for an unsigned copy, there's an Amazon link below, which means that I get at least a little percentage of what you pay to Amazon. Doesn't cost you any more, but I get a little commission on my own book, which helps everyone out. But I prefer you to buy a signed copy straight from me because I make the retail margin on that and Amazon doesn't. Anyway, look forward to seeing you in the next video. Check out this one here, which will help you out with some more of your campcraft skills.